On his first day of school, this timid kid used just one move to keep the school bullies in check. He slowly walked up to the podium and announced to the whole class. The classmates were all at a loss for words, and the bullies dared not even look at the kid. Everyone mistakenly thought that the kid, Buyeo Tae, was a legendary figure called Asan White Tiger. But what they didn't know was that Buyeo Tae just shared the same name with Asan White Tiger. The real Asan White Tiger had been sent to the hospital by Buyeo Tae. At this time, a classmate raised his hand out of curiosity because he didn't know about the Asan White Tiger. The bully was so scared that he quickly asked him to put his hand down. Seeing no one raise their hand, Buyeo Tae was puzzled. In fact, he just wanted to get beaten up on stage to show his bravery so that no one would bully him. He never expected that no one would dare to raise their hand. It turns out that Buyeo Tae was always bullied in other schools. He had been bullied since he was in kindergarten. When he was in middle school, the bully was scolded by the teacher. After class, the bully said to everyone,
아까 수업 시간에 웃은 개새끼들 다 따라 나와. 내가 다 봤어.
Then those students who laughed were pulled into the bathroom, and the bully taught them a lesson. At this time, Buyeo Tae, who was in a hurry to go to the bathroom, also came, although he didn't laugh at the time. The bully wouldn't let him go, although Buyeo Tae didn't laugh at that time. He was very uncomfortable.
들은 웃음이 삐져나오는데 존나게 참긴 하더라. 근데 웃은 것도 문제지만 말이요. 이게 웃기다 하고 생각한 게 그게 더 큰 문제요.
Then he was beaten up by the bully. This has been Buyeo Tae's experience from childhood to adulthood. He is used to being beaten, but why did he become so mighty as soon as he transferred schools? In fact, all of this was due to a chance encounter. That day, his parents decided to move, and Buyeo Tae was sad.
제가요 여기 onyang에서 하도 참아가지고 이제 어떤 놈이 어떤 식으로 시비를 걸고 어떤 식으로 빼는지 이제 다 파악했단 말이에요. 근데 이렇게 이사를 가버리면 새로운 땅에서 처음부터 다시 시작해야죠.
Later, Buyeo Tae's family moved to another city, where they lived in the house of a good friend of his father. The friend's family had a daughter named Ji-young, who was about the same age as Buyeo Tae, although she looked gentle. In fact, Ji-young was incredibly scary. The next day, Buyeo Tae's mother asked him to go out and buy rice. He also went to the arcade on the way and ended up being robbed by two brats. Luckily, he rode his bike and ran all the way. Otherwise, he might have been beaten up by the brats. At the same time, under a bridge, several bullies from the business college were ganging up on a teenager. The teenager's name was Jang Byung Tae. Everyone in the world called him Asan White Tiger. He had just moved here recently and was preparing to go to school here. Afterward, Asan White Tiger single-handedly knocked down several bullies from the business college. But he probably never expected that he would soon fall into the hands of Buyeo Tae, who was powerless. After the battle, Asan White Tiger started smoking by the roadside and then habitually said a sentence.
이 담배는 말이야. 꼭 이렇게 피를 묻혀야 그 맛이 깊어지는 거야.
At the same time, Buyeo Tae was riding his bike to catch up. A disinfection truck on the road sprayed a lot of white fog. When Buyeo Tae came out of the white fog, he saw a person standing in front of him. He braked all the way and even sparked, but in the end, he still hit Asan White Tiger. Afterward, Buyeo Tae took him to the hospital. Asan White Tiger is currently lying in bed unconscious. The doctor only knew from his ID in his pocket that the teenager was Jang Byung Tae, and Buyeo Tae's name was Jang Byung Tae. Their names were exactly the same but different surnames. The doctor asked him how Jang Byung Tae fainted. Buyeo Tae was still confused and said he didn't know. He just saw it on the road. In the end, the hospital decided to send him to a big city. The small hospital here can't treat him yet. In the end, Jang Byung Tae was taken to Seoul by an ambulance, and the next day, many classmates discussed a question on the bus. They all heard that Asan White Tiger was preparing to come here to study, and even the bullies of the business college were cleaned up by him. Everyone only knows that the name of Asan White Tiger is Buyeo Tae. No one knows what he looks like, but no one does not know this name that sounds scary. And the people who discussed this are the bullies of this school. And Buyeo Tae is also about to transfer here. And the night before the transfer, his father also taught Buyeo Tae a method not to be bullied. The next day, a police car sent him to school. It turned out that the policeman driving this car was his neighbor because it was on the way. He brought Buyeo Tae over. This scene happened to be seen by several bullies in the school. After all, the news that Asan White Tiger was coming had spread throughout the school, and watching this freshman get out of the police car, everyone naturally regarded Buyeo Tae as Asan White Tiger. Afterward, the teacher introduced Buyeo Tae to the students and said his name was Lee Buyeo Tae. As soon as the voice fell, The bullies sitting below finally confirmed that this new classmate must be Asan White Tiger, and when Buyeo Tae returned to his seat, he also looked scared. But fortunately, his father personally taught him another method. A method that would not be bullied by other classmates when Buyeo Tae was still considering whether to adopt his father's method. He did not know that everyone had already mistaken him for Asan White Tiger, so there was the scene at the beginning where no one on the scene dared to challenge him when the bell rang after class. The most fierce bully in this school, Ji Young, appeared. Big Strong and Johnny also hurriedly pulled him aside and told him that Asan White Tiger had transferred to their class. Upon hearing the news, Ji Young was shocked because the name Asan White Tiger was well known in all circles of society. So Ji Young had no choice but to gather his underlings after school to discuss a strategy. When the bell rang at the end of class, Buyeo Tae was very confused. Based on his years of being bullied, he didn't believe that there could be such a harmonious school in this world. Why hasn't anyone bothered him yet? However, just as he turned around, he saw Ji Young and others coming over with a group of people. Buyeo Tae was so scared that he kept backing away.
뭘 것이 옮겨? 아버진 여튼 생에 도움이 안 돼.
Then he knelt down with a thud, and Ji Young and others were stunned. Buyeo Tae was about to beg them for mercy, but Ji Young hurriedly knelt down with his little brothers.
시발 무도인이여 보여? 60년 전통의 부여농고에 전화 온 것을 축하한다.
It turned out that he regarded Buyeo Tae as a warrior, and Buyeo Tae was also confused. He really couldn't understand why the bullies here were like this. At this time, Ji Young reached out and began to introduce himself.
나는 장병태요.
아유 말하지 않아도 우리가 알아.
Ji Young proposed to hold a welcome ceremony. For Buyeo Tae after school, Buyeo Tae instinctively thought that he would be beaten.
어디서? 화장실 뒤에서?
The bullies were speechless after all. The welcome ceremony was usually held in a restaurant. Buyeo Tae proposed to go to the back of the toilet. What did he want to do?
유머 감각이 아주 탁월이야. 예? 쫄았잖여. 첫날부터 한따까리 하려 그런 줄 알잖여. 괜히 막은 거 아니오? 씨발, 이 반사신경 뭐야?
The bullies hadn't realized that Buyeo Tae's defensive moves were instinctive reactions trained from being beaten up. Ji Young had no choice but to say that he would wait for him. At the school gate after school, after he finished speaking, he left with his people, leaving Buyeo Tae alone in a daze. He thought to himself that he would definitely be severely beaten. After school, Johnny and Big Strong also proposed to take him away. Buyeo Tae thought to himself,
이 씨발 놈들이 어디로 데리고 가서 사람을 죽이려고 그러는겨?
Several people took Buyeo Tae to a restaurant and pushed him to the boss's position and even poured him wine.
술을 먹이고 두들겨 패웠다.
Then Ji Young began to introduce his little brothers one by one. And after dinner, they went to the bar. Ji Young also introduced him to a chick in the conversation. Buyeo Tae finally understood that they regarded him as Asan White Tiger. Young Jaeon Tae was the young man who was accidentally hit by his bike. Buyeo Tae was so surprised that he was dumbfounded. On the second day of school, Buyeo Tae was still considering whether to tell them the truth. But he finally chose to hide it because once the truth was told, his situation might be worse. During the physical education class, the bullies kept creating shooting opportunities for Buyeo Tae, but unexpectedly, Buyeo Tae was knocked down by the weakest monkey in the class. Seeing this, Big Strong couldn't help laughing. He joked that Asan White Tiger was actually knocked down by a weak monkey. Could it be a fake? In the afternoon, the skinny monkey also found Buyeo Tae and said, I know you are not Asan White Tiger because I saw you being chased and beaten by a group of brats in the game hall before. Seeing this, Buyeo Tae was so scared that he dared not admit it because once he admitted it, he might be beaten again. At this time, Johnny gave the skinny monkey a slap in the face, saying that you dared to have the courage to question Asan White Tiger. On the other side, Big Strong was also suspiciously staring at Buyeo Tae. In order to verify whether Buyeo Tae was Asan White Tiger, he blocked Buyeo Tae into the toilet after class and handed him a cigarette. Buyeo Tae, who didn't smoke, took a sip and immediately choked his face red. He realized that he could no longer hide, just as he was about to confess. Ji Young brought people in and then cleaned up Big Strong, and warned him not to question Asan White Tiger. After school, the skinny monkey also found Buyeo Tae again and threatened that as long as you can help me not be bullied by others, I will not expose your identity. Unexpectedly, as soon as his words fell, He turned around and bumped into Big Strong. Coincidentally, the milk also spilled on Big Strong. Big Strong, with a face of anger, was about to teach the skinny monkey. Suddenly, at this time, Byung Tae tightly held Big Strong's arm. He understood that if he didn't help the skinny monkey would definitely say that he was not Asan White Tiger. In that case, he would be worse off. Big Strong, who was looking at the sweat on Byung Tae's neck, had long suspected that Byung Tae was not Asan White Tiger. So he proposed to have a one-on-one fight with Byung Tae, and Byung Tae had to fight hard. Then Big Strong was pulled out by Johnny. Johnny thought Big Strong must be crazy. You dared to challenge Asan White Tiger. But in fact, Big Strong was also retreating in his heart. But after all, it was a duel he proposed. After school, the two came to an abandoned pig farm. When the skinny monkey was watching the battle on the side, he was found by Johnny. Then they beat the skinny monkey severely, saying that he was not worthy to watch the duel of Asan White Tiger. Just as they were teaching the skinny monkey, Big Strong also attacked Byung Tae at this time. Byung Tae was so scared that he was trembling with fear. After all, he was not Asan White Tiger at all. Under Big Strong's fierce attack, Byung Tae could only defend passively. But just as Big Strong was about to end the fight with a wrestling move, Byung Tae turned around and hit Big Strong's temple with his elbow. Big Strong was knocked out by this hit. Before Byung Tae could react, Johnny and his crew turned their heads and saw the scene. At this time, Byung Tae picked up a cigarette from the ground and took a puff. This action further confirmed in Johnny and their eyes that Byung Tae was Asan White Tiger. Because Asan White Tiger had a habit of smoking after a fight, especially when his hands were stained with blood. He would smoke more comfortably. Then Johnny and his crew quickly carried Big Strong away. And from then on, no one in the school dared to doubt Byung Tae's identity. The skinny monkey, on the other hand, was extremely excited. Although he knew Byung Tae's secret, as long as he kept it, he would not be bullied anymore. On the second day of school, Ji-yeon also hurriedly stopped Byung Tae and then began to apologize to him, saying that he didn't manage his subordinates well and dared to challenge you. To express his sincerity, he took Byung Tae to eat barbecue at night, and Big Strong also came when they were eating.
병태야, 내가 미안이야. 내가 감인지를 열심히 했다.
At this time, Byung Tae passionately educated him, telling him not to always bully people. In school, you may seem powerful, but once you leave school, you are nothing. After these words were finished, everyone was even more impressed with Byung Tae. Then Byung Tae let Big Strong sit down to eat and announced that everyone would be brothers in the future. At this time, Byung Tae began to slowly show his domineering side, and his counterattack journey officially began. After 3 rounds of wine, they went out to play and happened to meet a boy from the business college, pursuing their school's school flower on the road. Usually, people from the business college always bullied their school students. Now that they have Byung Tae, the Asan White Tiger, the school bullies are no longer afraid. Then Ji-young pushed out Byung Tae and then announced his name, Asan White Tiger. When the other party heard that Byung Tae was Asan White Tiger, he was surprised to find that he was somewhat scared. Although he was holding a pair of pliers in his hand, he could only brace himself in front of his beloved goddess. Byung Tae, with the support of many school bullies behind him, then severely humiliated the other party. And because of the alcohol, he even slapped this guy. This scared the other party and ran away. Before leaving, he didn't forget to threaten Byung Tae, saying, "Wait and see. I will definitely find someone to retaliate." After Byung Tae rescued the school flower, he also invited her to drink coffee and proposed that she could come to him when she encountered difficulties. After drinking, she also planned to escort the school flower herself, and the little brothers followed behind. Later, Ji-young told Byung Tae, "People from the business college will definitely come to retaliate. I suggest we take this opportunity to make those people bow their heads from now on, and let them understand who is in charge in the future." And Byung Tae also calmly boasted that this is a small matter. On their way back, Byung Tae and Johnny met several female students fighting. Johnny said that the girl is the famous Black Spider. No one in the schools in this area does not know her name because Black Spider is the most fierce and capable of fighting. At this time, when Byung Tae took a closer look, he didn't want this Black Spider to be Ji-young. Byung Tae is actually living in her house because his father and Ji-young's father are good friends. Johnny said that besides Ji-young's parents didn't know she was Black Spider, everyone else knew. After Byung Tae knew, he thought of a method that could make him completely strong. When he returned home in the evening, he immediately began to threaten Ji-young to teach him Kung Fu. Otherwise, he would tell her parents about Black Spider. And Byung Tae's trick really worked. After all, Ji-young had been hiding from her parents for so long to maintain her image. At the same time, The real son White Tiger in the hospital also finally woke up.